Hey everyone, some guy rank stuff here and making a return after quite a while actually. I've been busy with stuff, but hey, the one viewer who might be still be here might appreciate this. So previously I made a video about uh, the new movies, like the movies I hadn't seen before for the past year, and I had another year with that back from around October to October, I think, from 23 to 24. So I have a new list here with movies that I would like to rank. Um, because I made like this kind of resolution, so to speak, not really a New Year's one, but I'm made myself a goal to watch at least one movie that I had never seen before, at least once a week. So I had a year with that. So I've seen 52 movies, but this time, like the first time, I just picked movies at random. I could just spend a Sunday thinking, oh, I have to watch a new movie for the week, and I just went on to a streaming service, found a movie that looked interesting, or just found a movie that maybe I knew I wanted to see. But this time around, I was planning a bit more because I wanted to see a new movie, like an unseen movie from all the years from 2024 and back like 51 years because I watch a new movie every week, so a year consists of 52 weeks roughly at least. So I went all the way back. I have to grab my other computer. All the way back to, let's see here, 1970. Three, I think. 1973 to watch a movie and for like I pick out one release from every year up until 2024. So I'm doing this from. I kind of wanted to uh, do this in the order of how I watched the movies because I didn't start at 1973 and just watch the movie from 74, 75, and so on. I pretty much just picked out whatever was available to me at the time. So I jumped from year to year, like in a random order. But I'm doing this, decided to just do this ranking based on, or at least in the order of the years they were released. So I'm starting with the oldest one and up until the newest one, which is further down here. You can't see it here, but I also added the other movies that I saw within that year that I just didn't count towards the yearly, like the different year thing. So let's start with 1973. The Exorcist is a movie that I've never seen before. Um, I do have some horror movies because in October I strictly watched horror movies from different years. And The Exorcist is a hugely recognizable movie. Um, like, I didn't find it that scary, honestly. Like, today I've seen scarier movies, scarier effects and things. I did find this kind of funny at times, like unintentionally, just over the top with the cross and everything, with the girl sticking it between her legs and all that. But I have to remember that this came out in 1973. That's a long time ago. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was groundbreaking in so many ways. There had never been a movie quite like this. But to my like entertainment and everything, I don't think it's not a top tier movie. I think it's a great one. I understand its legacy, but I just don't want to rank it higher than A. It's not an S for me, unfortunately. So in 1974 we have Murder on the Orient Express, and it's a. I thought it was a good movie. I've never really watched any Poirot. I'm not sure how to say it really. Movies before. I haven't read the books either. And I wanted to go for the original rather than the remake, which came out in like 2019 or something. I did enjoy how there were so many familiar faces in this movie, even though I hadn't, I'm not too familiar with all the actors at the time. But look, having Sean Connery there was good. I also liked the guy who played Basil Exhibition, isn't that his name, in the Austin Powers movies? That was a fun thing to see. Very surprising how like I didn't know the story at all. I know about these like who done it kind of stories and everything. Like I've seen Knives Out and stuff, seen other movies doing the same thing. I know this is a really popular one, and but I thought it was actually a cool thing how, spoiler alert here, uh, everyone was kind of in on the murder. That made it interesting. But I think maybe it's a B for me. Maybe not as groundbreaking. Maybe the book's better. I can't tell. I haven't read it, so still good movie. I thought it was very enjoyable. So the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, I'm not really into musicals. There were some really fun moments. Um, I remember watching like Watch Mojo having like this top 10 character or villain introductions or something, and they had is it Doctor Frankenfurter his name there at like well at least on the list and saying that his introduction was really well done, and I have to agree because first of all I think Tim Curry is great, but the way when I saw it in the movie, I mean he really captured me as a viewer. And it had really funny moments, some catchy songs, definitely, but nothing too special for me. I think it's kind of like a mid movie. But I think maybe the funniest thing in this movie was how he first tricked the woman. I can't remember the names, but like Susan Sarandon's character into thinking that it was her husband coming into her bed, and then he did the same to the husband dressed as the Sarandon character, and he still went along with it. I thought it was actually a pretty funny scene. But yeah, I think it's a B movie here. The Omen was actually not one of my Halloween movies. I watched it actually in 2024, so way before October again, I think. um, I think like I see where like where all the inspiration in different movies have come from, and I thought it was kind of like The Exorcist, but maybe not something too special. I do have a problem with a lot of these older horror movies. I don't find them scary, but I do appreciate what they were for the time. And well, I can't say that I don't hate it at all. I thought it was a good movie. It has some really shocking scenes, like the death scenes in particular, were actually well executed, and I bet they were really surprising for the time. So these, before I say something more, the not this one, but the next one is kind of made me kind of shocking. Like these are movies I haven't seen, and I tried to pick out movies that I really wanted to see or feel like I should have seen based on public opinion. Um, so the next one is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is kind of a coincidence that I've watched. Uh, but I think it's an interesting movie. I like how, like, also see here in other movies and series where maybe they got their inspiration from. And I think it was a rather enjoyable movie. Like, I think it was cool how some of the people got different, signs from these unknown extraterrestrial beings, um, which was like this huge puzzle for many of them, and how they like put the pieces together and found out like where the aliens would land when they finally came. Interesting and entertaining movie. So Grease is like one of these movies that, based on public opinion, I should have watched actually a long time ago. Once again, not really into musicals. There's nothing too special to me. I get why it's so popular. Uh, it has really had its funny moments sometimes, but nothing too special for me. Nothing to really, I wouldn't like say much negative about it, but at least an okay movie to be. So Apocalypse Now from 1979. Um, that was a really interesting one, and definitely above most of these. I think maybe so far the best movie. Like every time I think I've watched a little too few war movies because every time when I imagine like a plot for a war movie, it's mostly I always try to picture like maybe trying to depict the whole war in some way. But they rarely do that, and I think it's really cool how they can pick like one little thing from any war, and that's what the entire movie is about. Like for example, Saving Private Ryan, how during World War Two, you have this mother, or I think maybe just a single or like a widow or something, who has four children. In the war, she loses three of them, and before they can um, I think before they can deliver the message about them all being dead, they try to save the last one, just making sure that she at least has one son left that didn't die. I think it's a really interesting thing, and this time you have one, um, not sure what rank he had, but like this one military officer or maybe a soldier, kind of uh, turning on the forces he once was a part of. And so they have to take him out because now he's suddenly a threat, which I think is a really interesting premise for a film. And I thought it had really intense scenes when it came to the time where, um, like, it went from a lot of like joking in some ways, like with some humor and stuff, like over the top things, like loving the smell of napalm in the morning and everything. Uh, to then see like this really dark scenes where um, Martin Sheen, his character, is about to finally finish his mission, taking out this guy who had turned against them, and it was really well done. I think. I think maybe like when I rank these, by the way, it's not like based on all the movies in existence. Like in existence, if I put it like over here, it doesn't mean it's like the best movie ever, but the best movie among the ones I've seen in this past year. And I think this is one of them, one of the best movies. We then go to 1980 with Friday the 13th, and well, I had only watched like a remake of it at some point, but this is the first one before the hockey mask and everything. Uh, I thought it was, I knew something about it already. Like I had seen the final scene in the boat and everything, um, a long time ago. But I really think it was an enjoyable film. Got kind of interested to see the rest, or at least more Friday the 13th movies. Haven't done so yet, but definitely a good one, good horror movie. I think, but I still think this is a B ranked movie in this case. I bet actually a lot of these movies will end there at the end. The Evil Dead in 1981 was, I guess, also a pretty shocking movie. I just can't remember much from it. I mean, it's been over a year since I saw these movies at least, and I think it's just another B movie. It was intense in some ways, graphical, kind of disturbing at some points, but yeah, I think I'm happy with this placement. So E.T. is definitely one that I should have seen a long time ago. One of those. I think it's a B. No, not a B, but an A movie. Uh, I think I've seen it before, but I was surprised to recognize Henry Thomas's face. Like I also heard that Drew Barrymore was in this movie, but Henry Thomas, like from watching The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor and The Fall of the House of Usher, or even when I recognized him in Gangs of New York, I just didn't really realize that he was the main character as a child in this movie. Thought that was really cool. Um, good movie. I probably would have loved it a little bit more if I saw it as a child, but it's not at the top, but really good one as well. But I have to say that like E.T. might just be the derpiest alien I've ever seen in a movie or a video game. So yeah. Then we have Risky Business. I watched this based on the whole Home Alone scene kind of thing with the white shirt and the microphone and all that. Um, Nothing too special, I think. I had some thoughts on it when I saw it, but it's been just so long that I just can't really recall that much from it. So I just have to put it here. But I know that I didn't like it too much, at least. Karate Kid, definitely another one that I should have seen a long time ago. Um, I thought it was good, kind of a cool. Like we had a good villain. We had a cool kind of mentorship with Mr. Miyagi. The one thing that really bothered me was just how very rushed the ending was. I mean, we have this villain like the guy at school who met him in the finals of the tournament, who like was really reluctant to listen to his coach about cheating, or at least using a move that's very frowned upon in karate. Apparently, I don't know much about karate, just to mention that. But for him to like turn around and be try to be a little bit more honorable, and then actually handing the main character the trophy, which should be a really cool moment. It just wasn't given enough time at all. It was super rushed. He won the thing. Oh, everybody's happy, and just the end. Yeah. But everything leading up to that was pretty good, I think. Uh, but I think it's another B movie. So the Goonies is something I've heard about, but I just didn't know much about. The only thing that I really recognized from this movie was the old woman villain, who that I interpreted as a clear inspiration for the mother in Naked Gun 33 and 1/3, being like Rocco's mother, I guess. It was pretty clear how they got that inspiration from. So I thought that was funny. I thought it was like loud and noisy, and that one kid who was always yelling and everything. Thought it was super annoying, and I think I would have liked it as a child. It looked like this adventurous movie and everything, but to me now, being like 33 soon, I didn't really find much entertainment from this one. So The Goonies actually is a C movie. Top Gun, pretty cool, pretty somewhat emotional. It's kind of cool how, I mean, maybe I just look at it wrong. I mean, the Val Kilmer character, clearly a douchebag, clearly like a villain of the movie. He did cause the death of, oh, what was it called again? The Goose, I think. Goose. Um, it did cause it, but it wasn't really being like a huge dick about it. I mean, it didn't sound like very sincere when he said he was sorry to the Tom Cruise character. I just don't remember the names here at all, almost. But he said he was like sorry about the whole thing, kind of, at least like trying to show some emotion and understanding as to why the Cruise character was so down after or sad about it. So like he kind of caused it, but he wasn't like being a dick about it or just trying to like really get into him in some way. He was just kind of right in many ways, not just this huge asshole, which is kind of refreshing. Maybe there are more movies with villains that aren't that black and white, like the protagonist or antagonists. dynamics that are that black and white that many movies do have, but uh, I think it's kind of refreshing to see anyway. So, 1987, Full Metal Jacket, definitely one towards the top. Um, Unfortunately, it's been a while since I saw this, but I did like how, even though it's about this war, and of course, not many like many movies try to show how like how horrible wars can be, but just I thought it was, for me anyway, kind of refreshing to see this guy or this really critical point of view towards wars instead of just being go, just to use an example, go USA, we won the war, we're the best. Not everything is like that, of course, but I thought maybe like this would be one of those movies, but I think it came like or at least succeeded in depicting this kind of critical point of view towards the war in different ways. Just showing the realities, showing this from like a journalist's view instead of a soldier, was actually really cool, I think. And of course, the beginning, like before the war and everything, on the camp with the guy suddenly snapping. Um, Powerful movie, I think so. It's among the best ones I've seen this year. So, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I had heard of. Um, like I've seen Space Jam, of course, many times as a child. Love that movie. Um, this one is older, of course. It came out in 1988. I thought it was really well done. I was like genuinely surprised at how well this movie was made. How they made it, like the cartoon characters actually feel like a part of the world that they were living in. Um, Entertaining one for sure. Funny in some ways. But most of us just uh, impressed with how well they made it. So, real good movie actually. Uncle Buck. I mean, I haven't really known much about John Candy other like his role in Home Alone One, and I think it was like Camp Candy or something, the animation show on Cartoon Network or something back in the day. Other than that, I didn't really know much about Uncle Buck. Oh no, about John Candy. I mean, but I understand why people love this movie. I was really happy to see Macaulay Culkin in yet another. I guess this was before Home Alone. Like another movie as a child, because I haven't seen him in many other roles, even though I kind of appreciate him. I did like him in one of the newer seasons of American Horror Story, but of course he's an adult there. But it was really cool to see like Kevin again in another movie. It's funny. I like the tone of it. Like it had like the language that was kind of on the on the border to maybe a little like what am I trying to say here? Like foul mouth, but not quite. And then uh, there was just something about Tia and her eyes, especially like the actress who played Tia. Her eyes were just always so kind of piercing towards Uncle Buck. She just didn't care for the longest time, or even try to give him a sense of, you know, her even appreciating him being there. And Buck himself was, of course, funny in many ways. The way he handled business, how he washed clothes and everything. If I remember correctly, like he didn't really use a washer. Maybe I'm just rambling on about different things. It was a good movie. Nothing too special, but a good movie. So Goodfellas is a film that I wanted to see for the longest time. Um, I mean, I didn't really love it. It was great, and boy, like Joe Pesci once again, like Home Alone. I've mostly just seen him there. Of course, I knew he was been in several Martin Scorsese movies, and I can see some of the same antics in Harry in Home Alone, but of course it's like way more um, like R-rated in different movies. He was unhinged in this movie, like really, just. Of course, I had seen the whole funny how scene before, um, but still just seeing it there and s- like seeing like I've seen the scene, but I haven't seen it in the movie until now. Just get that whole setting around it. It made it more intense, and I understand why that scene is so popular and famous. Yeah, it was a good movie for sure. Cape Fear was one that I've wanted to see for so long. I understood that this was like the inspiration, or like not inspiration, but the original of that Simpsons episode with Sideshow Bob getting out of prison, following the whole Simpson family on the boat down the river. Uh, but I really didn't realize just how disturbing this movie was. De Niro was freaking creepy in this movie. It was really good though, but wow, I did not expect getting that unsettled as I did. I thought it was great. Wayne's World, after seeing the Austin Powers movies, I wanted to see this one for the longest time. I love Mike Myers, at least in the Austin Powers movies. Um, it's not on the same level, I think. It's a cool movie, and I think it's cool how they had like this. I don't really understand how the like TV networks have worked in the USA. I mean, I live in Norway. We probably didn't have the same things here as they did there, but like to have like this basement TV show like locally broadcasted. Um, Other than this being like locally broadcasted, this is kind of like how YouTube works today. Like that could have been a YouTube show today, in some ways. Um, I'm probably pissing off some people by saying that, but still, I drew that parallel, and I get it's cool in some ways how I mean, they broke the fourth wall and everything. But and of course it has had its funny moments, but I didn't really think this was too special. It's far from as good as the Austin Powers movies, at least. So here, this might be a little surprising. Not sure how people rate Bronx Tale, but I really enjoy this movie. I think this is one of the best ones I've seen this year. I did watch Goodfellas like the week after, I think, or something like that. Um, but I really like this one better. This was a story I just thought was cooler in some ways. I love how you watch this kid grow up and you have these different gangs and everything with like the African American people. You have um, the Italian people, of course, and I think like both, at least the um, not the youngest actor, but like they have the kid in the beginning, then they have the this when he grows up a little bit more. I think he really that actor looks like a actually looks like a young De Niro. I think Robert De Niro. So I thought it was great casting. I thought the story was really good. It was captivating in so many ways, and I really enjoyed just watching this. I was kind of hooked through the whole thing, and I really liked seeing. Uh, I never remember his name, but the kind of the boss of the street, or at least the area he lived. Seeing him in this really serious role after seeing him like as Shorty in Modern Family, I think it's great to see this side of him. Even though I'm kind of more familiar with his funnier side, maybe a little more lighthearted side. Even though I've seen him in different movies, of course. Oh, he's also been in A Night at the Roxbury, of course. Love him there as well. But great movie. So the Shawshank Redemption is the last one I saw in 2023. I'd like to kind of end the year with a great movie, and this is of course one of the highest rated movies of all time. I think it's up there. Great movie, great acting. I think it's also really interesting how like this movie is about Dufresne, I think that's his name, and how he manages to escape, but still we have Morgan Freeman's character doing all the narrative, or at least most of it, which is something I kind of appreciated. Like I do like to see how you can tell a story in different ways, and I thought that was really well done. But of course, I knew that kind of a surprise at the end, so it wasn't really surprising to me. But I'm glad I finally saw it, and I do understand why it's so highly regarded. It's not my favorite among these, but still a really, really great movie. So in 1995, there was 007 Goldeneye, and I haven't seen all James Bond movies. I like to see more of them. The ones that have seen is like Skyfall, Spectre, among the newer ones, but I've also seen a couple of older ones. I just can't remember which ones. But GoldenEye, like, I grew up playing GoldenEye for the N64. Of course I did, and I love that game so much. But I've never seen the movie, and I've been wanting to for so long, just haven't done it yet. So, seeing this movie was great to finally do, and it was really cool to see because I played the game not too long ago and finally finished the single player, at least from like a casual standpoint, so to speak. I haven't like mastered all the different difficulties and all that, but it came out on Nintendo Switch again. No, not again, but it came out for Nintendo Switch online, which I was really happy about. So I finally got to play the single player. I must have played the multiplayer back in the day, and just seeing all the different scenes that I remember from the campaign of the game was really cool. So it was a really enjoyable movie. Not like one of the best ones, but definitely like a personal favorite to me. And just I'm glad I finally saw the film, which one of my like favorite memories of video games back in the day was gonna belong to. So the English Patient is from 1996, and this like the one huge reason I wanted to see this was because of the Seinfeld episode where, of course, Jay Peterman, Elaine's boss, just loves this movie. Elaine hates it, and I really wanted to see why. I think, of course, it's slow. It has like maybe some dull moments in some ways, but I actually enjoyed this movie, and I liked how you have this injured person who's been taken care of, and you get to see snippets of his past at times. Yeah, I thought it was like a good way to tell a story. I think maybe it's an A for me. I haven't really like I can't remember everything, but there were some cool things. And I like the little side story of the nurse or the doctor. Not sure which she was, but having this relationship with. I think he wasn't like an Indian, from India at least, or maybe not. He wasn't from India, but I just can't remember exactly how his character was. But I think at least had a turban. I might be wrong, but I apologize if I'm wrong, but I did find those two really cute together and everything. So it was fun to see this movie and just to follow the whole story. So the truth about Titanic is that I had seen about half of it. Of course, I know what happens, like obviously, but I'd seen like half of it a long time ago. I just hadn't finished it. So I finally got to see the whole thing, and it was the last movie I saw during this year. I kind of saved it, one of the biggest for last. Absolutely a great movie. I may not watch it again for a long time, but I thought it was really well done with the love story and how it actually was told. I mean, you could have just had this story about like the DiCaprio character, and yeah, Jack and Rose, of course. You could just have the story about Jack and Rose and everything, but it's like it's told in the present, or at least it's the setting is in the present, but we go back in time during the movie to get the whole story behind this necklace. I think they found at the wreck, underwater. Um, so it was well done, and the whole, I thought it was great drama about when they hit the iceberg, were on their way down. Like even though most of the focus, of course, was with Jack and Rose, and of course her fiance, if I remember correctly. But we also got to like see how like every passenger on the boat or on the ship were handled during this whole tragedy. So, well-made film, no doubt. Steven Seagal, The Patriot, kind of like this is The Patriot from 1998, so not the Mel Gibson one about the American Revolution, which I like more, but more about this. How was it again? Like they discovered a kind of disease or something, and he has to cure it. Something about that. Kind of coincidental. I want to see a Steven Seagal film with a couple of friends, and you will see more of them later here. Um, but it's probably the worst ones of all the movies I've seen this year. Nothing special about it. The story wasn't that great. It had this one unintentionally funny moment that I really enjoyed when he covered his daughter, who seemed to have the cure. This kind of seemed like a precursor to The Last of Us in some ways. Um, but yeah, he finds his daughter. He covers her with like a blanket or like a rug or something, and then just all of a sudden he just runs towards the end of the room where the camera is, and without really registering that he's jumping towards the window, he does this flip out of the window in like in slow motion. Me, my brother, and a friend of ours, we just started laughing our asses off. It was really funny, unintentionally, but took us by surprise, and we just laughed at it. So 1998, Office Space. I really wanted to see this. Heard great things about it, but I don't think it was that good, really. Um, Maybe I get why people like it. Maybe people have worked in an office like this, but like the whole hypnosis thing and how they try to make money in other ways, I just, and the ending was so weird in some ways. I just, it's been a while now since I saw this, so I can't remember exactly why I didn't like the ending, but it's just something that seemed too easy to just find a new job or something. I just, because it started like construction or something like that, but it's hard to talk about when I just don't remember the whole thing. So yeah, it wasn't really that good, I think. Requiem for a Dream. I think this is a really good one, and actually the movie has kind of stayed with me longer than I thought it would. I didn't know much about this. I've heard about it many times, but I just never knew much about it at all. And I definitely didn't know the theme song. Of course, I recognized it from way back when. It's been played in many different places, but I think it's so. It's a really sad movie in so many ways, and I think it's a really good depiction of how drugs can like get you into trouble in different ways. And I liked how the four things they ended up with like how either you're getting in trouble with the law, like I don't remember the character's name, but I think it's the same guy who plays Shorty in the scary movies films, scary movie movies. Like how he gets into trouble with the law because it's illegal, of course. Then you have Jared Leto's character who loses his arm. He like suffers physical damage. You have the addiction from Jennifer Connelly's character, and like the things you end up doing to kind of fulfill that satisfaction of the addiction. Like you have to just the things you feel like you not feel like, but the things you do just to get that rush or feel good again. That's really depressing. But most of all, I think it was Sarah Goldfarb. I think that's like one of the few names I really remember from these movies. the saddest one, I think. She only wanted to go on TV, and she wanted to look good, so she got prescribed some pills from a doctor who just wouldn't even look like take a glance. No, how do you say it? Like just did never. Whenever she came to see his doctor, the doctor would never look at her even once. Um, and if there are doctors like that out there, they can just go to hell. That's really sucky way to treat your patients. And she's definitely the saddest one. She just went she went insane. All she wanted to do was to go on TV and just look good on TV. She wanted to brag, or at least proudly talk about her son, who unfortunately had a tragic ending as well. Um, Definitely the saddest character. She never deserved what happened to her. So a really depressing movie in so many ways. I get kind of bummed out just talking about it right now. So let's go to something really weird. Mulholland Drive is another movie. I thought it was really good, and I have seen Twin Peaks. That's pretty much the only David Lynch movie David Lynch production I've ever seen. And I can definitely tell that this is a David Lynch movie. Like, what the what's going on? Like, there are some things you just have to ask. There's something else about it where you have to ask that question. So I had to kind of look up the meaning behind the movie, just how the Naomi Watts character, how she was it again, like a theory, or maybe just a theory or perspective towards how she, like, you see the version of how she wanted to meet her partner and not the way she actually did or something. It's been a while, of course, but it's a really huge WTF movie in so many ways. It was entertaining, but it was kind of hard to follow. I kind of I wanted to see this movie more than Requiem for a Dream, but I think I ended up liking this one better than this. Still great movie though. I love Twin Peaks, but it was a little too weird for me to consider this a top movie. I think. So Signs is a good movie, I think. I've heard good things about it, and the alien scene that so many people freaked about, like when you see the TV footage. Like, I had seen it already, and maybe it was very, very scary at the time, but I feel like it's kind of overrated, that scene. It was a good movie, but nothing too special, I think. So my Christmas movie for the year was Love Actually, and yeah, I get the movie, but there were some things I just didn't understand, like why did Alan Rickman's character have to, like, try to get his secretary this necklace or whatever it was? Why did that writer guy? I mean, it was a sweet scene when he proposed to his cleaner, I think it was. It was kind of sweet when he had his, like, this whole village or town following him for his proposal, but he had a girlfriend back at home. Why? Like, how easily do you fall for someone else if that's how? I thought it was weird, but I did like Liam Neeson's character. You know, if I remember correctly, he was a stepfather, and then the mother of the child dies. Like, that's what we know about him, I think. So he ends up having to take care of this child who isn't, like, really his, but he kind of is anyway. But their relationship was kind of sweet, I think. So I liked that one. But the best thing about the whole movie was Rowan Atkinson. I think it was hilarious trying to, pack in the whole thing for Alan Rickman's character. He was the best, no doubt. I love that one, that part. But nothing too special, I think. C. No, sorry, B. Then we have The Village, one of the earlier ones I saw during this year. Mm. I kind of knew the twist, but I just didn't know how it would happen, or I didn't remember exactly how it would happen, or how it would reveal itself, or even what the revelation. No, I knew what the revelation was, but still a good movie. Nothing hugely special. I think this is another, yeah, B. So we have Corpse Bride, and it's a Tim Burton movie for sure. Though I did like it, I thought it was one of the most captivating scenes was how, like when the Corpse Bride rose up, walked through the woods, and followed the main character. I thought it was really well done, like really atmospheric with the wind. Like it felt kind of, not sure how to describe it, but it was dark and windy, and like you have this bride who's clearly dead following you. I thought it was just a really well made scene. Um, I also think the contrast between how like the underworld, or like the dead realm, so to speak, was a lot more colorful than the real world was, which was hugely like black and gray and kind of um, depressing looking. And man, some of the characters look hideous, as they well should in this kind of Tim Burton style. Uh, so yeah, I thought it was a good movie. Nothing too special. The Departed was actually, yeah, that's a S movie. Great movie. Really like how um, you have like these double agents on opposite sides, which was really cool. You have this one guy working in the police who's cooperating with the mobs, I guess, and you have the other cop who's trying to figure out who's the mole in this whole thing. Very cool movie. It's definitely one of the better ones. Shooter, kind of interesting, nothing too special. Oh, of course you can't see. You can't really see all the movies I'm ranking here. I have to. Oh, there you see a little bit more of my movies. There we go. For now, but I think I have to make it a little bit smaller. There maybe. We'll try there. So yeah, Shooter, Mark Wahlberg. I think this is a good movie with how you have this ex-army man, I think, and how they're trying to frame him for killing, was it a president or someone less important? Can't really remember, but I think it was entertaining, but nothing too special. So Slumdog Millionaire is one that I had seen some of, but not all of back in the day. I did see this in like most of it, or at least some of it, during my class called Culture and Communication back in like high school, I think. It's really good, really good, and it's really cool how. Well, first of all, like how could this slumdog person know so much, like to answer correctly on all the questions in a game of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it's because he has experienced all this, and you see like from the episodes where he experienced this. It's a really cool way to tell a story, and then you have this love story and everything. Really touching, really cool, and really it's really fun. Both a fun watch, but also a really exciting one. I think it's actually one of the best ones I've seen. Avatar was a movie I really wanted to see in 3D when it was new. I never ended up doing that. We didn't have a 3D cinema, I think, in my town back then. I had a chance at one point in Germany, but we didn't make the movie after all. But after seeing this now, I thought, I don't care about 3D anymore. But when I watched it, I think that I started thinking, wow, this would have been really cool to see in 3D after all. Because the visuals are stunning in so many ways. It's a visually gorgeous movie. It's got a good story, nothing too special. So I think it's another B ranked movie. Black Swan was actually a really cool, in several ways, a cool film. I think, like, I saw this, it was kind of slow. It was, it's about ballet and everything. Nothing that I really, like, connect with in many ways. And I kept thinking that, oh yeah, I mean, this is kind of sad and everything, but it just doesn't really hit with me. But the last half hour or something, things got really intense and so cool. I thought it was very well made. Um, it's not like it saved the movie. I thought it was good already, but the last half hour just really uh, captivated me, and it was really fun to watch. It's definitely an A movie to me. Great movie. Drive was, I think, the second movie I saw out of all these. Don't really remember much. You have this Jesus. Why can't I remember his name? Ryan Gosling. Yeah, Ryan Gosling. Character has like these different drive jobs, and he has a neighbor, a mother with a child. They have a romance and everything. And he gets to save them from like maybe the ex-boyfriend, I guess. It's a good movie, entertaining one, but I think it's nothing too special. Can't remember all that much about it, but it goes there. Django Unchained was like, I remember this movie being a Tarantino film that I wasn't really that interested in seeing back when it came out. I remember this The Hateful Eight being a movie that I really wanted to watch when it came out. Like, I would rather see that one than this one. It felt more interesting. And it was, I think. But Django Unchained was still a really good movie. And of course, it was all worth it just to see the Leonardo DiCaprio meme with that smug face. So, of course, that was fun. But other than that, of course, it was a great movie. I think I'll put it on top, in the top row. Her was actually very interesting. I remember hearing about this when it was new, like the whole artificial intelligence, seeking company with artificial intelligence, how that can be both a like good company and not so good. A very unique thing to make a movie about, especially back then. Really relevant now, though. I was actually genuinely surprised about how good this was. A for me. Maze Runner, kind of coincidentally that I watched this. One of the better movies that I had seen from that year, which is 2017 maybe? Oh, 2014, of course. 2014. I haven't read the books or anything, so I don't know anything about it. I just watched it, and yeah, I think it's a B for me. Mad Max Fury Road was the first one I watched. It's got great action and great visuals, but I really didn't care that much for this. I haven't seen like the old Mad Max movies either, but uh, to me it was just this long drive and action. That was all there was to it. Mostly, it wasn't just that, of course, but it didn't hit me really. Train to Busan was. I haven't seen too many South Korean movies. There is. I have seen Parasite, I think the year before, which was really good. Train to Busan as well was a really good one. I think like zombie movies aren't my thing really, but it's kind of cool to see how different movie from Korea, like from South Korea, can be from a Hollywood movie. So In some ways, this was like a friend of mine who I watched this movie with always spoke about how relieved she was to see that people could actually be smart in many situations, like in a zombie apocalypse and everything. Like this, like the main characters were more clever here than they usually see in Hollywood movies or other ones. And I kind of agree with her. It was really good. Baby Driver, real cool movie. This was not a Guy Ritchie movie, but I was mixed these two up. Guy Ritchie and Edgar Wright. I think it was an Edgar Wright movie. I have to look it up. Yep, Edgar Wright. Guy Ritchie is the Snatch, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels movies, I think. Edgar Wright is like the Shaun of the Dead, isn't it? Yeah, sorry about that. Really cool. I did really like enjoy the plot. The romance plot I thought was kind of, it was cute, but it was like, how, why would this waitress just run away with this criminal? Like, he wasn't like the baddest person at all, far from it, but it did partake in many criminal activities. So yeah, I have to question that a bit, but entertaining movie. How they use music for the character and for the style of the movie in general. Just how like many of the shots are fired in the rhythm of the music. Kind of cool. Um, Entertaining film. Really rooting for Baby himself. One of the funniest things here is like I always have to stop and think like Mike Myers or Michael Myers, who's whom, and you have this guy getting masks. He's the other guys request Michael Myers masks, which is of course the Halloween character that they use to rob a bank, and he comes back with like 4 Austin Powers masks because he thought it was talking about Mike Myers. That was a super hilarious scene. I loved it. It's a great movie. Yeah. Game Night is a fun movie, I think. A real cool premise with like a couple who are so into games that they found each other romantically, and then end up with a game night that was supposed to be like this role play of sorts, and something goes wrong, and it's so not a role play anymore, but the main characters still think it's a role play, and just how things go out of hand. Really entertaining. Nothing like a super duper great movie, but it's a really good one either way. Rocketman was kind of a film that I just watched with someone coincidentally. Entertaining one. I'm not too familiar with everything that Elton John has done. He does have some good songs. It was entertaining, but nothing too special. So, with me being a teacher, Druk, I guess, which is a Danish name, if that's how you even say it, Et Gras Til, which is the Norwegian title, or Another Round, which it's called in English, is a really nice and cool film. So they have this premise how there's this Norwegian psychologist, I think, who discovers that like people are kind of the happiest or live their best lives with a certain what's it called again? Like promille? Jesus, what is? Yeah, like a blood alcohol level. So there are these teachers who are kind of in a rut, maybe a little bit in life, but definitely at work, especially the the main character. He's being criticized by students and parents because he's not doing a well enough job or a good enough job. So they try out this thing where they drink alcohol at work just to keep this level of blood alcohol level, and everything like seems to be really good, but it gets out of hand because they try to like push the limit a little bit further and further, And unfortunately, there's this one guy in the gang who can't handle this well at all. So it's both. It's kind of bittersweet. There's this huge tragic thing that happens, but still, some good still happens, and really entertaining. And I really advise other teachers, which I am, by the way. If I didn't mention it, I was starting to say it, but I'm not sure if I did mention it. Everyone should see. Really enjoyable film in so many ways. So the next one is The Night House, and I might be cheating here a bit because this another round was the 2020 movie. We're now at 2021, and this was technically shown at, I think, the Sundance Festival in 2020, but I think it wasn't released into public theaters until 2021, so I'll count this as a 2021 movie. I think this was a really cool and unique film. The actress here is great. I think she was the same one in the Awakening. Was that the name of the movie? Which had like Bran from Game of Thrones in it as well as a young boy. One thing that I really enjoyed about this was how unique it was to create these creepy scenes, creepy moments, or even creepy atmospheres. Especially how I did like one thing that I really noticed was how it had many scenes where it kind of built up to a jump scare happening, but it just didn't happen. Like you get really tense. I think it was a good example of how you can really create a creepy atmosphere without having a jump scare. Jump scares work well in many ways, but this was an example of a movie that didn't need it. It wasn't amazing, but I think maybe it's like an A for me from out of these movies. Okay, so first of all, I have to say that like Batman, I'm not a huge Batman fan, but for some reason I was kind of intrigued by this one. I kind of liked the darker tone of the trailer when it first came out, and while I did enjoy this to a certain extent, I found it hard to see like this dark atmosphere. You had all these police people at these crime scenes and everything, and you have this one guy in a Batman costume. It kind of took me out of it sometimes. I thought it was kind of looked ridiculous at times, and I also thought maybe like Batman reached the conclusions of the different like the riddles from the Riddler a little too quickly, a little too easily. I'm not sure how Batman does it in other movies or in other media, like in the comics or in the games or anything. I just felt like sometimes it was a little bit too easy to find the answer. I really don't find it too special, unfortunately. Five Nights at Freddy's was an October film I saw in 2023. It was at the theaters at the time, so I had to see it. I've played some of the games. I'm kind of interested in the story, and I was kind of interested to see how this movie turned out. It started well. There was this one scene where this night guard looked behind the curtains on the stage, and he saw the animatronics like turn off, but they were there. That was a really cool like moment where me having seen the movie, not having played the games, thought it was really cool just to see them. But unfortunately, like it didn't turn out to be as scary as maybe I'd hoped. It did have some good moments at the end when we saw like Golden Bonnie and everything, like the way he came into the room and all that. I thought it was really well done, but it's nothing too special. I think it's I think to see, unfortunately. So there are more movies here, but these are just like the other movies I've seen during during the year, but just didn't count towards my picks from each single year. So I'll rank them really quickly at the end. But the last one is from 2024, and that's Dune Part 2. Definitely at least an A, maybe even an S. I just wish I'd seen Part 1 again before I saw this one, because I'm not really that familiar with the Dune universe. I haven't read the books or book. Not sure if if there are more. And I haven't seen the old David Lynch one, unfortunately. Like the thing I'm most familiar with from the Dune universe is "To Tame a Land," a song by Iron Maiden, which was based on that book. But I just couldn't use the same name because I think the author didn't like heavy metal in general. So yeah, but as a story, I mean, as a film, it was great. Yeah, it was great to follow, to watch. Great entertainment, great visuals, great music, and everything. A really well made movie, for sure. I think it's an A. So this is how I would rank the 52 movies from 1972, no, 73 to 2024. Um, a lot of great ones. Some of them really lived up to the hype. Some didn't, like the Office Space, and everything. But I think maybe like the order on each row doesn't really matter. Like the Batman isn't like the worst one among these to me, but it's there. And there's just too much rank if I'm to put these in order. But I think maybe actually like the most surprising one was A Bronx Tale. I really enjoy that one. So here are some others I will also put into the tier list. So A Million Ways to Die in the West. Entertaining movie, funny. Yeah, I think to be Action Jackson. I think it's a hilarious title. It wasn't too much special. I think it's a C for me. Barbarian was actually a really good one. Scary, really creepy film. Well made. Beer Fest I wanted to see for a long time. It was an alternative for the year it came out. I just can't remember which year it was at the moment. But yeah. I think B movie. So Burning, which is a Norwegian film. It's a funny one. I think maybe A. No, not A. The first one is the best. But it's a C movie here. Jurassic Park 3. Like the one friend I watched. What was it again? I watched. Oh Jesus, where is it? Yeah, Train to Busan. She loves the Jurassic movies in general. I get the super hype around Jurassic Park 1 at least. 1, 2, and 3 are kind of good as well. I don't really care that much. I'm sorry, I really don't. So here are the Jurassic World movies. I don't care. I don't care. Sorry. I like Chris Pratt. Love him in Parks and Recreation. He'll always be Andy Dwyer to me. And Bryce Dallas Howard, beautiful woman, great actress. She was also in The Village. She was great there as well. But they don't save those movies to me. I'm not saying that they're not terrible or anything, but I don't care. Sorry. Døde menn går på ski. This is a Norwegian crime film based on a crime book. It's funny. It's funny. It's entertaining, but it's definitely not a great film. There are some scenes in there that just don't make sense to me, but it was enjoyable in some ways. Kill Buljo is a film that I finally saw. It's Norwegian. It's clearly like a parody on Tarantino movies. Of course, Kill Bill, the most obvious one here. It's silly. It's funny. It's really weird. It has some really dry humor, but some of the jokes are also really well done. It's kind of like, I mean, it references several movies in many ways, but I think maybe one of the most enjoyable parts is just how it takes the humor from films like Naked Gun into this. It's pretty funny. Mulan was good, and once again the Jurassic girl I watched these movies with, Train to Busan, Jurassic movies. She's also a huge Disney lover, so yeah, Mulan was one that I hadn't seen before. It was good. I just feel like most Disney films are pretty much the same, unfortunately. Pretty Woman, B. Step Brothers, I think it's a B as well. Funny film, but yeah. The Big Short, yeah, B. That one as well. So I was kind of explained how the economic crisis from 2008, I think. How it happened. I it's a film that actually explains it well. I'm just so lost when it comes to economics and stuff. I don't understand all of it, so I can't. If I was to actually explain, like retell this story, I can't remember it. But it was a good movie, and nonetheless. Um, Barbarian I saw at the same night, I think, as The Menu. They were both really creepy and really good. I love films like these. They were great. Time Bandits, a lot of Monty Python, a lot of the same people. We have Terry Gilliam making them, like directing it, I think, and we have a couple of the Monty Python people as actors. Entertaining movie, nothing too much special. Under Siege 1 and 2. There goes Steven Seagal. I kind of have a mission with a friend of mine to watch Steven Seagal movies. So we start with the good ones. Like Under Siege is a good movie. I really liked Tommy Lee Jones. He was prime. I like him in general, but I think he was the best part of it. You know, you could have put like any other actor into Steven Seagal's role, and this would have been just as good. He doesn't make the movie at all. There are other things that actually do. Under Siege 2 isn't too bad either. I think I'll put these both here. I also enjoy how the poster is pretty much exactly the same. You just switch out the ship with the bridge with the railroad here. Either way. So yeah, I think that's how we rank them. So we see these two better ones first, and we'll just try to watch the really, really bad ones later at some point. So anyway, that was my tier list of the 52 plus movies that I've seen in recent years, for the past year. So I'm doing this now because I'm going to start this new year. Happy New Year, by the way, 2025. Woo! By watching a new movie every year. No, every week, I mean. But this time I will do like alphabetically. So I will see. Go 2 rounds around the alphabet and watch a movie that starts with each letter. But if there are some movies that I just don't want to watch, like if I can't find anything for Q or X, for example, I'll just replace them with a movie that starts with a number or something. So either way, yeah, that was all. That's my ranking, that's my opinion. Just remember that I'm neither right or wrong, I'm just some guy who ranks stuff. So thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed this. Of course, give me some feedback if you got some, and I'll hope to see you later.